Today I am reviewing the film Mandy, which I just saw and I have many feelings about. I have been wanting to check it out for a couple years now, and I've heard some interesting things in reviews. I was also interested to check it out because it has a lead performance from Nicolas Cage, who, when I think he is in a great film and with a good director, he does fantastic work. The film was a kind of a cult hit, and it has some very interesting style to it, some very interesting performances, and is overall a good watch. I was hoping to maybe enjoy it a tiny bit more than I did, and I'll talk about some of my feelings towards that. But overall, I'm glad that there are films being made like this in this day and age, and I encourage anybody with a sense of style and a passion for film to check it out. Mandy stars Nicolas Cage, who, as I said, when he is with a good director and is in a great performance, I think he can be one of the best actors of our era. He has a reputation for doing a lot of films that are, let's say, below par, and this is often to pay bills or to just work a lot. And I actually have a lot of respect for an actor who just wants to work and who wants to put themselves out there as much as Cage does. There's, a couple schools of thought on being an actor, and some people believe that you should be very choosy. Somebody like Daniel Day-Lewis, who I just reviewed his There Will Be Blood performance, he's a very choosy actor and often takes long breaks or is apparently retired now from acting. And is very selective about his roles, which I respect and I believe does help you solidify your reputation and your style and who you are as an actor. But there's another side of actors who just want to get their work out there and who want the experience of being in a number of different films. And I believe Nicolas Cage is one of those actors. And he has ups and downs in his career, and some of my favorite performances of his have been Raising Arizona, Wild at Heart, Matchstick Men, a number of other films, Leaving Las Vegas, which he won an Academy Award for. He is a very wild actor. He's very impulsive. He loves to take things to extremes. He loves to just kind of take the idea of acting to an eccentric and fun place. And sometimes this goes in the direction of camp, and sometimes this goes in the direction of a really, really powerful performance. And I think the strongest thing about this film, Mandy, is his performance, and he really does a good job of keeping his heightened level while also grounding himself and getting what you want out of this character.
So what you want?
Crazy evil.
The film is about a young couple, and they are brutalized by a cult, and it's a pretty simple revenge plot. I was thinking when I saw it that it reminded me a bit of the film I Spit on Your Grave, not in story or structure, but in the way that it kind of pans out for the revenge and the brutalization. The first half of the film, we are introduced to the characters. They're brutalized by the cult, and spoiler alert, Mandy is sent into flames and killed in front of Nicolas Cage. And the second half of the film is him acting out his revenge. Again, not the deepest plot in the world. It tends to lean more towards a B-movie or grindhouse feel, which I actually enjoy grindhouse films a lot. And I think that it was, a unique kind of vision on the idea of cult murders, and there's also a surrealist element to it. There's these Hellraiser kind of demons on bikes that are intermixed with the cult. There's a leader who is a bit reminiscent of Charles Manson. He's like a failed musician, which is a thing of Charles Manson's, and he's a long-haired hippie type, and everybody in the cult is on some weird form of acid that is making them act out violently. And it just has some unique qualities to it. The style and the look of the film is probably also one of the strongest elements to it. There's definitely calls to David Lynch. There's calls to, I would say, Tarantino, particularly the Kill Bill franchise. and even like the film Heavy Metal or some 80s works like rock and roll. There's lots of different style elements in this film that come together. And I think it's got a cool color palette. It can be very, very red at times, like somebody just took a red filter over the camera. And that works. At times it does feel maybe a tiny bit heavy-handed, but, again, it works for this campy sort of style. If there was something I'm going to talk about this film that I wish would have maybe been a little bit different, or if I was approaching the material, what I would have done with the film. And again, I never really want to pick films apart or criticize them in any way. It's just a matter of me kind of thinking about what I want to see as a viewer and what I would do as a director. I think I maybe would have taken about 30 minutes off of the runtime of this film. It runs about a little over 2 hours, and I think the same film and the same message could have come across in 90 minutes, and that would have added to that grindhousey feel to a film as well. This had more of this long, epic timeline. And there was a lot of moments in the film, and this is something with the writing that I felt maybe there could have been pared down scenes, the dialogue. There's particularly a scene when Mandy meets the cult leader for the first time, and she's hallucinating off some drugs they just gave her. And he's giving this speech about his philosophy and all that. And I kind of felt like this ran on for a little bit longer than it needed to. It didn't quite have the tension that I was looking for.
And take what is so very much mine.
And also later in the film, when Nicolas Cage is acting out his revenge, I do feel the second half of the film is probably the strongest part of it. But there were even moments in that revenge acting out that I thought, this went on a little bit longer than it needed to. Again, just a personal thought, I still enjoyed the film a lot. I think that it is wonderful that films like this get made. It's clearly a passion project of the director and an altruistic vision, which is always welcome in my book. And I think that the element of a cult and the element of revenge, it's always interesting to me. And there's a really fun scene, or I shouldn't say fun, it's actually a bit disturbing, but it's one of my favorite scenes from the film, is when Nicolas Cage comes home after the death of Mandy, and he is in complete distress. And there's a really wide shot of him in a bathroom, and he just puts away this handle of vodka and is losing his mind. And this is one of those great moments where Cage gets to kind of pull the leash off and show us what he can do as an actor, and you feel it in a powerful way. And there's not a lot of moments that Cage gets with this character to really do that. A lot of the character is a bit more brooding and quiet, which isn't a Cage regular emotion, but it works for him in this, and it works for this movie. And it's great to see him unleash himself at this moment. I think anybody could check this out, and I won't say that this film is going to be for everybody, but I think that the people who enjoy it are really going to enjoy it, and it's worth a look. Check out Mandy.